Hi, everyone. I want to talk about energy in the body. Now, I know that the moment I talk about energy in the body, everybody thinks it's kind of philosophical or it's complex or whatever. It's got nothing to do with them. But of course, the trouble is that we, as I keep pointing out, how often we have been disempowered. I mean, you might think that physiology is more real than energy. But the truth is that you don't feel physiology. You don't feel the potassium in your body or the way neurotransmitters are actually moving around. You don't feel that. What you do experience is the flow of energy. And that's why we keep talking about good energy, bad vibes, good vibes, because that's what I experience. So the trouble is that conventional medical model has made us think that anatomy and physiology is what's real, but it's not our experience. We actually experience energy. And so I want to talk about energy. And my understanding of it is actually very simple, and I don't want to get involved in too much complexity around it. But what is our actual experience of energy? And all of us have that experience. So the word chakra often comes up, of course, because in some kind of way the ancients, remember, they had lots of information around the flow of energy because they never knew physiology or anatomy. And what they knew was their own experience. And if they went hunting, they had to be sensitive to what was happening around them. And so they were in touch with their animal instincts so that they could negotiate dangerous places. And the animal instincts are the energies in the lower part of the body, a gut feeling. And even lots of us talk about our gut feeling, like, yeah, that gut feeling over there tells me about danger. So we all have connections to the various energy bodies in the energy fields in the body. So we often talk about heart, and we all know heart stuff, and we can feel it. That's our experience. So we all know about gut. That's our experience. And we know when we're getting into the head area and starting to get philosophical and using thinking mind, and you can see where my hands are going now. When I go here, I can feel my whole body shifting. Then I come into heart. And then there is the gut feeling. And then the big energy field of sex. I mean, everybody knows that field at some point in their life. It tends to calm down a little bit as you get older, but when we're younger, then we can really understand what we're talking about, the sex drive. The sex drive is so powerful and so strong. It's the drive for procreation, but nevertheless, it's also an energy field. So, of course, the problem is that with men, that sexual drive is very, very strong. And we can't just manifest the sexual drive all the time as much as we might like to. And there are men that are so driven by their sex that they're masturbating all day, they're looking for women to have sex with. Not much heart there. And the trouble is that the sex drive, when it's only used, when it's used for procreation specifically, then it has a procreation benefit, as it were. But when it comes up all the time during the course of the day and it's got nothing to do with procreation, then what we do with the sex drive? Of course, you can masturbate if you wanted to, but that doesn't always satisfy, does it? So we have to learn to use these energies, this field of sex, and allow that sexual drive to flow upwards because, according to the ancients, these different energy centers along the spine can be connected to each other. And obviously, when the sexual drive is connected to the heart, then it has a different quality to it. Then it expresses itself in a kind of more sensual and loving kind of way. Now, one has to remember that women in general are much more in touch with the heart center. So that if a man is only interested in sex and a woman is also centered in her heart, and a heart is a connection feeling. It has to do with feeling. So a man and a woman are often out of coherence because they've been driven by these energies that are not resonating together. All the man is interested in is sex, and whereas the woman, her sexual drive, I mean, that can be very powerful as well, but very often for a woman, the heart, her sex and her heart are connected together, and she wants to have a dance. She wants to have much more feeling in that and touching. She wants it more to be sensual rather than just sexual. So in that case, the man has to allow the sexual energy not to be driven only by the sexual energy, but to allow the energy of the heart also to come up. And one can do that. And all that is required to do that is consciousness, because consciousness is the background always to all the different centers. Consciousness, as it were, is the ground upon which all these other more limited centers are sitting in. So consciousness can be brought to play and allow the sexual energy to flow up into the heart as well. So this is the play of these energies, and we are consciousness. But if you allow your smaller, what I call contracted self, to become because the contracted self is self-centered and only is driven by these energies. There's no control. That's why there's so much rape around and sexual abuse, because a lot of men don't understand all these other energies that are flowing in them. And so they become aggressive. The animal instinct is aggressive because they want to have their sexual energy kind of activated, well, not just activated, but released. So the drive then, this animal drive, it's all animal instincts. Below the diaphragm is our animal instincts, our sexual drive, our gut energy. All that is where anger can reside. So a lot of men are stuck in their animal instincts, sexual instincts, the gut instincts, the gut anger. They use it in a way that shouldn't be used. Animal instincts are. So in this process of being human, we need to allow the animal instincts to flow upwards, not only to the heart, but even to the higher centers as well. So, but these are energies. They are vortexes, and they are connected to physiology. And so behind all physiology are these energy centers. So we all know these centers. We just need to know how to use them. The gut center, which is gives us some insight into the world around us, and where fight-flight is also playing with. But if we can use it and bring it up into all these other higher centers as well, where our heart center, where our feeling is, our wisdom, not just our intellect, not just being clever, but allowing our wisdom aspects, our higher centers to operate as well. So what I'm suggesting here is that you actually play around with these centers. Get in touch with them. Men, see the sex center and don't only think that it has to be satisfied through sex. See what happens when that sexual energy starts to flow up. Let it flow up. Let it flow up into the heart. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful when the sex center and the heart center dance together. Allow this opening to happen into the heart. Too many people are closed off in their heart. They're afraid of the heart because it's sensitive. It brings our sensual aspect up. So we often bypass the heart, especially men, into the head, and we don't even use our head properly because the head is both where cleverness is, but also wisdom. Higher centers are where wisdom is. So we can allow these energies to flow up and down, release them, because many of them are blocked. Our sexual center gets blocked. Our and often the sexual center energy flows up into the gut area, and then we replace the sex with eating, and so eating becomes our sexual pleasure, because the sex energy then flows up into the abdomen area where it needs to be satisfied, and so we use food. If we can allow it to flow up even higher into the heart, then we can allow our heartfelt opening to happen, and even get wisdom into it. So beautiful to play around with these. They're all there. We're all living with them. They're all drives. And these drives need to flow, if we want to flow to become more than just animals. Because a lot of people just functioning at the animal center, they don't even realize that there are these upper centers around which also need to be opened up. So, yeah, a lot of fun. Please check out your centers and see what they're saying to you. Have a good day.